Hello and welcome to this edition of FYI Weekly, your official source for City of Greensboro news and information. The Greensboro City Council appointed Assistant City Manager Chris Wilson to serve as the interim city manager starting June 15th. Wilson will replace outgoing City Manager David Parrish, who is stepping down on June 30th. Wilson has been an assistant city manager since November 2013. He was hired by the city's Parks and Recreation Department in 1992. Wilson was promoted to Director of Parks and Recreation in 2012. Since then, Wilson has managed the Fire Department, Guilford Metro 911, Budget, Finance, and Human Resources. Currently, he leads the Community Services Departments, which consists of Human Rights, Communications and Marketing, Workforce Development, Libraries and Museums, Neighborhood Development, Parks and Recreation, and Creative Greensboro. Wilson said, "During this transition in leadership, I look forward to working with City Council, the employees, and our community to continue efforts to restore city services to pre-pandemic levels. We are moving the needle in the right direction with the economy, rental assistance, public safety, and quality of life programs." Wilson spearheaded the Invest East campaign, which focuses on economic development in East Greensboro. He designed the Battleground Parks District model around Country Park, which begins Phase 1 construction this summer. Wilson played a key role in bringing the North Carolina Folk Festival to Greensboro and continues his support and efforts for affordable housing and workforce development. Wilson is an alumnus of Northwest Guilford High School and UNCG. The City of Greensboro will receive $59 million in COVID-19 relief and economic recovery funds as part of the Federal American Rescue Plan, or ARP. City Council will decide how to spend the first portion of the funds over the next several months. Meantime, residents are encouraged to share input about how the money should be spent. Residents can use the Greensboro ARP Spending Simulator on the city's website to make comments or include spending requests. The American Rescue Plan outlines a variety of ways the federal funds can be used to reduce the impact of the pandemic. However, the law does not allow the money to fund tax rate reductions or to delay a tax increase. Taking into account City Council's adopted priorities, the city may use the funds on recovery assistance for community programs, including nonprofits and cultural arts, transformative one-time infrastructure expenses for broadband, housing, or transit, to cover expenses related to fighting the pandemic, or to restore city revenue reduced as a result of the pandemic. The first $28 million will be dispersed in May. The remaining amount will arrive no sooner than May 2022. For more information about the American Rescue Plan, visit the U.S. Department of the Treasury website. The city has a new economic development manager. Marshall Yandel previously served as a vice president of the High Point Economic Development Corporation. In his role with the City of Greensboro, Yandel will oversee the Economic Development Division of the Planning Department. This division administers programs and services that support City Council's economic development priorities and goals. In High Point, Yandel collaborated on incentivized projects investing $118 million and creating more than 600 new jobs. Specific highlights include coordinating with Guilford Technical Community College and more than 20 local furniture companies to organize and create the Furniture Academy to teach furniture sewing and upholstery. Yandel partnered with various City of High Point departments and Smart Growth America to use small-scale manufacturing to help vitalize the southwest part of that city's downtown area. He was involved with the Small-Scale Manufacturing and Place-Based Economic Development Task Force. Greensboro Planning Department Director Sue Schwartz said Marshall has a proven track record of success in encouraging economic investment and facilitating expansion of employment opportunities. He will help strengthen our business support functions to foster economic growth in Greensboro. Yandel is a member of the North Carolina Economic Development Association Professional Development Committee. The city developed a partnership with Cone Health to share a series of brief and informative videos designed to inspire you to make better choices when it comes to healthy living. Following these tips is an easy way for each of us to improve our quality of life. Let's take a moment to check out today's news for your health.
Are you experiencing stress due to remote learning during COVID-19? If so, you're not alone. We're going to talk about ways to manage the stress as remote learning continues during this new normal. This is a stressful time for all of us, and it is normal and appropriate for parents and for children to be experiencing the stress of COVID-19. Something that's been especially stressful is that it's put so many parents in the situation of having to juggle working from home with managing their children's remote learning. One thing that I recommend is looking for ways to establish boundaries. You could do that through establishing some semblance of a routine. It doesn't have to be a strict schedule, but just making sure that you have, regular meal times and times of day when you're definitely working and times of day when you are definitely not working. So one thing I definitely recommend is that parents try to set aside time for quality time with their kids. We're around each other more now, but the quality of that time has gone down for many of us. Try to set aside time for quality time so that you're not always trying to work while they're trying to go to school in the background, but that there are also dedicated times that you spend to just enjoy each other's company. When you see your child feeling stressed, one thing that I definitely recommend is being an active listener. So rather than waiting for your child to reach out to you, reaching out to them and letting them know that this is stressful and you're here for them. If your child doesn't want to talk about it, that's okay. Go ahead and give them their space. But at least that way they know that you're there and that their stress is normal. It's not something strange or wrong about them. When your child does come to you with concerns, the first thing that I recommend is to just listen to them. As parents, it's really normal to have an urge to comfort our children and reassure them that things are okay. But in this situation especially, that could inadvertently have the effect of invalidating their feelings. After you've listened to their concerns, see if there's something that they can do today that might make them feel a little better. We can't make the pandemic go away, but maybe there's some small thing that they can control in their life right now that might bring them some sense of relief. While a certain amount of stress is normal and even appropriate, there are some symptoms that may be a sign that you could benefit from further treatment. Among adults and children, these can include difficulties with sleep, changes in appetite that cause an impact on weight, either weight gain or weight loss, loss of interest in activities you or your child used to enjoy, difficulty focusing or paying attention, more frequent bouts of tearfulness, or even increased irritability. You may also experience excessive worry and difficulty relaxing, or a lack of energy and persistent feelings of fatigue. While children may also demonstrate all of those symptoms, they may also have unique symptoms of anxiety and depression. These can include fluctuations in grades. So for example, if you notice your child struggling with a subject that used to be easy for them, many children will manifest symptoms of anxiety and depression physically. So your child may complain of stomach troubles and not really be able to identify the cause. If your child is having difficulty focusing or avoiding activities that they used to like, that could be due to anxiety or depression related to the COVID-19 pandemic. If you or your child are experiencing any of these symptoms, or if you would simply benefit from talking to someone, many providers are offering telehealth visits that you can attend from the safety of your own home. While this time is challenging, it's important to remember that remote learning helps slow the spread of COVID-19 and keep children and family members safe. This will not last forever. By following these steps while remembering to wash your hands regularly, wear a mask when in public, and practice social distancing, we will get through this pandemic.
Slowly but surely, community events are returning to in-person experiences. Music enthusiasts will be thrilled to know this applies to a popular concert series. We'll have that story and more news coming up after the break. Stay with us. Welcome back to FYI Weekly. Music for a Sunday Evening in the Park, or the MUSEP concert series, will return for its 42nd season on July 11th at 6 p.m. The first 4 events from July 11th to August 1st will stream live on Creative Greensboro's Facebook page and the City of Greensboro's YouTube channel. The last 4 events from August 8th to August 29th will take place in person at the White Oak Amphitheater. All concerts are on Sunday and begin at 6 p.m. Concertgoers will see and hear from some long-standing favorites, including the Greensboro Concert Band, Sweet Dreams, and Dobie. Several musical acts will make their MUSEP debut this summer, including the Lorena Gillian Tango Ensemble, Colin Cutler, and Soul Tree. Free parking will be provided for the White Oak concerts, and guests will be allowed to bring their own food. Alcoholic beverages will be available for purchase at the venue. To learn more about Creative Greensboro, visit the city's website. After being sidelined in 2020 by COVID-19, applications for City Academy are being accepted through July 1st. Individuals who applied in 2020 do not need to apply again. This free program is designed to develop civic leadership and prepare residents to serve on city boards and commissions. City Academy offers a behind-the-scenes look at city government through hands-on activities and facility tours. There are 2 optional sessions with police covering firearms training, a driving while impaired simulation, and the canine unit. The weekly classes are from 5:45 p.m. to 9 p.m. from September through November. A graduation ceremony will take place on December 7th during the City Council meeting. 30 diverse residents representing each City Council district will make up the Academy. Participants must be at least 18 years old and pass a criminal background check. Preference will be given to those willing to serve on a city board or commission. To apply for City Academy, visit the city's website or call the Community Relations Office at 336-373-2723. Start planning for COVID-conscious summer activities by visiting Greensboro online. This is where to find a host of in-person, socially distant, and virtual activities, programs, and events sponsored by the Greensboro Parks and Recreation Department, Creative Greensboro, and the Department of Libraries and Museums. Consider participating in events for all ages, ranging from the Pieces of Now exhibit to sports programs for teens and adults to the summer concert series, Music for a Sunday Evening in the Park, or MUSEP. Many of the programs are free. Creative Greensboro continues its 40-plus year history of free live performances with the MUSEP concert series. This year, for the first time, there will be a production of a Broadway review. The library's virtual story times and book clubs and Parks and Recreation's Growing Up Wild series for kids 2 to 5 are also free. And of course, admission is always free at the Greensboro History Museum. There's a little something for everyone. Map out your summer activity plan at gsosummeronline.com. Greensboro takes pride in its lakes, streams, and creeks. Maintaining the pristine aspect of these waterways requires community support. Coming up after the break, find out how Water Resources rallies residents each year for their signature event. Stay with us. Welcome back to FYI Weekly. Keeping our lakes and creeks free from debris and contaminants involves education, awareness, and the willingness of our residents to volunteer their time to keep the green clean. Joining me now to talk about an annual event aimed at keeping our creeks litter-free is Lane Roberts. She is the Public Education Coordinator with the Water Resources Department. Hello, Lane. Welcome back.
Hey, thanks.
Thank you for joining me. So tell me about Guilford Creek Week, what it is, and when is it happening?
Yeah, so this year Guilford Creek Week is occurring June 5th through the 12th. Normally we have it in March, but due to COVID, we've kind of made some adjustments. So this year it's going to be in June. And essentially what it is, this is our 4th annual event. And every year, thus far, we've had this event to encourage residents to get outdoors and learn to appreciate their waterways that are in their community. And a lot of times people don't realize that there might be creeks behind their house. Yes. And so this is a good opportunity for residents to just get outdoors and do some cleanups, go and experience some events, and maybe learn a little bit about their local waterways.
Okay, so why in particular is it important for the city to host Creek Week?
Yeah, so Creek Week has become a national thing, actually. So there's a lot of Creek Weeks that have been popping up across the state. And so we kind of want to be alongside our neighbors, for one thing, but it's also valuable because when you get outdoors and you start to be exposed to nature, you tend to start to value it more.
Yes.
And when you have value for something, you tend to take better care of it. So with residents getting outdoors, and whether they're doing cleanups or going to an event and learning about the macroinvertebrates or reptiles and amphibians that might live in our creeks and streams, the more you learn, the more you're going to care. So we just want to get folks out and into those outdoor spaces.
So once you've enticed everyone to get outdoors, what actually takes place and the types of activities that you planned for Creek Week?
Yeah, so this year we had several departments participate. So every year we ask businesses, nonprofits, government departments to participate. This year with the City of Greensboro, we had the Libraries Department, Water Resources, and Parks and Recreation participate. So we have a lot of partnerships. The Libraries is doing some story time and actually some watercolor painting. We're actually going to do a Lake Brant cleanup on kayaks, so that's really exciting. Hopefully we'll get a good turnout for that. And then we have some other just random public events that are going to be happening around Greensboro, High Point, and as well as within the county as well.
Okay, so that makes your job much more interesting, and you get the opportunity to really interface with our community. How can residents get involved and support you beyond Creek Week?
Yeah, so, you know, the city does have multiple volunteer opportunities throughout the year that are regularly occurring. So our Adopt a Stream program, that's an annual program, as well as Greensboro Beautiful's Great American Cleanup and those big sweep programs. And then also just, you know, like walking your dog and picking up trash, and it's poo, because that's important for our waterways as well.
Yes.
So every little bit that a resident can do to help protect our environment is super important. But if people are interested in participating in any events, they can go to guilfordcreekweek.org, okay. And there's going to be a list of all the events that are happening there.
Okay, well, June 5th will be here before we know it. It's always good to see you, Lane, and thank you for coordinating all of these great activities and getting us geared up for Creek Week, Guilford Creek Week to be exact. I know it will be a huge success. Do come back and promote the other great events I know you'll be hosting throughout the year.
Will do. Thanks.
Thank you. Stay tuned for some useful information about Greensboro as we tell you something about the city. That's coming up after the break. Stay with us. Welcome back to FYI Weekly. One way to stay informed about decisions that impact our city is by attending or tuning in to City Council meetings at 5:30 p.m. on the first and third Tuesday of the month. The fourth Tuesday is reserved for a meeting as needed. The City Council is holding hybrid meetings where they assemble in the council chambers, but the public participates virtually if they want to address the council. The Greensboro City Council meetings are broadcast right here on GTN. The meetings are also streamed live on the city's website and on Roku. The City Council meets on level 2 of the Melvin Municipal Office Building, located at 300 West Washington Street. To review the council meeting schedule and agendas, please visit the city's website. Here's an opportunity to learn a little something about the city. In this year of reckoning on the systemic impacts of racism and inequity, the city introduced Race GSO, reflecting on and considering experiences. The goal is to eradicate racism within our workplace and the community by adopting new policies, practices, and programs. The Greensboro Police Department has made several changes to its policies and practices, ensuring they serve all residents equally. The GPD Directives Manual provides complete details. In an effort to remove barriers to access and employment that disproportionately impact people of color, the Human Resources Department eliminated 2 employment barriers. Unless a job is safety sensitive, the city will not consider nonviolent drug-related convictions when conducting pre-employment background checks. In doing pre-employment drug screenings, the city will no longer report tests that come back positive for THC, the chemical found in marijuana, unless a candidate is being hired for a safety-sensitive position. The City of Greensboro is committed to actively evaluating its policies and making adjustments as needed to align with the goal of achieving racial equity and social justice in our community. For a complete list of city policy changes, visit the Office of Equity and Inclusion website. Coming up after the break, we'll showcase our department spotlight, but first, meet the people who boomeranged back to Greensboro.
Westerwood just is the art and soul of Greensboro is what I call it, really. It's this eclectic, just very diverse, very cultured.
Kind of the same way. I mean, it's an artist neighborhood, and I love like Daniel Park that we're in right now. Beautiful for walking, and Westerwood Tavern, good for hanging out.
My name is Natalie Miller. I'm the owner of the historic Magnolia House in Greensboro, North Carolina. Moved back to take on the family business and to carry on the legacy and do the important work of sharing the historic Magnolia House's narrative and all of the other African American sites here in the area.
I'm Tal Blevins. I'm the owner of Machete Restaurant here in Greensboro, and previously I spent 20 years as a tech journalist in San Francisco. Greensboro really offered us the opportunity to start our own business because it had a lower cost of living, and it also had a lot of open retail area for us to be able to look at. We started as a pop-up out of our house just to kind of test our concept for a Machete Restaurant, and then we were able to find a space and we were able to kind of live our dream.
What's really awesome that I was really impressed by when I first moved here to the Westerwood neighborhood, we have this annual event where all of the neighbors are invited to showcase their art on the porch. And you go to these people's houses and you see what they do outside of their 9-to-5 selves, and it's amazing.
So when we were looking for houses in Greensboro and we were driving around Westerwood neighborhood, we love the different architectural styles here. We have a 1920s arts and crafts house, which has got a lot of character, which is something we wanted. We have fantastic neighbors, so it just had all the amenities that we wanted, as well as being close to downtown too.
Welcome back. The City of Greensboro has more than 20 departments and several divisions committed to serving you, our residents and visitors. Let's go behind the scenes in our department spotlight. The Greensboro Parks and Recreation Department has launched its first new sport league in more than a decade, Greensboro Esports. Residents age 7 to adult are invited to join gameplay for the inaugural summer 2021 season beginning on Monday, June 14th. The league will feature Madden 21, NBA 2K21, Fortnite, and Rocket League 2v2. This family-friendly competitive sport league is a great way to bring gamers together to develop their skills, connect with new people, and have fun. Registration is $10 per person per game for the full 6-week season. Participants will receive a free Greensboro Esports t-shirt. Register by Saturday, June 12th, simply by downloading the Mission Control app and selecting your preferred game. For more information, visit the Greensboro Esports League webpage or contact Program Specialist Jacob Neal at 336-373-3272. Straight ahead on the other side of the break is this week's Way to Go GSO Shoutout. Stay with us. As we draw to a close, we always want to end on a positive note with our Way to Go GSO Shoutout. This week's shout out goes to the Field Operations Department. The City of Greensboro is conducting a recycling audit which focuses on the type of materials found in residential and commercial recycling containers. Random samples were collected from 60 different recycling routes and examined in order to identify the areas where recycling education needs to be enhanced. Residents can track the audit on the city's social media accounts. For a list of what can be recycled, visit the Waste Wizard on the GSO Collects app. Please remember, as more places continue to open, wear your face covering, wait 6 feet apart, and wash your hands often. That concludes this edition of FYI Weekly, but you can easily stay connected to the latest city news by linking to us on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and Instagram. Alexa users can subscribe to our 5-minute flash briefings, which airs on 90.1 FM and 100.7 FM. Be sure to download our weekly podcast, Talk City Greensboro, and now GTN is streaming on Roku. For all of us here at the City of Greensboro, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.